I have always been a fan of cars and old things with history. I was drawn to abandoned cars, garages with mysterious pasts, and I always dreamed of finding something unique. One day, while browsing ads, I came across a strange listing. For sale, 1967 Ford Mustang. Cheap, no questions asked. The price was ridiculously low, and I immediately knew something was off. But curiosity got the better of me, and I messaged the seller. The response came instantly. He said the car needed to be picked up that very day and gave me an address. It was on the outskirts of the city, in an almost abandoned area where no one had lived for a long time. I arrived there in the evening. The house looked dilapidated, and in the yard stood the very car, covered in a layer of dust and dirt. But even through that, I could see its greatness. It looked like it carried a story far beyond just years of neglect. The seller, an elderly man in worn-out clothes, stood nearby, smoking and nervously looking around. "Take it and leave," he said, handing me the keys. I tried to ask him questions, but he just shook his head. "You don't need to know. Just go." It was strange, but I didn't push. After paying, I got into the car and started the engine. It ran perfectly, as if it had just been repaired. On the way home, I kept thinking about the seller's words. What did he mean? What was so special about this car? Once in my garage, I decided to inspect it more closely. Lifting the floor mats, I noticed an uneven spot. It was a hidden compartment. Prying it open, I found a small stash. Inside was an old notebook, a stack of photographs, and what looked like a small pendant. I opened the notebook. Its pages were filled with strange notes, dates, names, and at the end a short message. "If you found this, know that they are watching you. Trust no one." A chill ran down my spine. Who were they? Why was someone watching? I flipped through the photographs. They showed different people, cars, streets, but on one, I recognized myself. It was impossible. In the picture, I was standing near my garage, but the photo looked old. Panic gripped me. Who took this? When I decided to dig deeper and started looking for information about the car's previous owner. Through a database, I found that it had belonged to a man named Michael Randall. I found his old records. He had gone missing 10 years ago. His disappearance remained a mystery. I kept researching and stumbled upon an article in an archive. It said that Randall had worked for a secret organization involved in testing unknown technologies. One day, he just vanished, leaving behind only this car. I couldn't sleep all night. My head was spinning with thoughts, questions, and theories. By morning, I heard a strange noise. It was as if someone was outside my garage. I cautiously peeked out the window. A black car with tinted windows was parked outside. It just sat there, unmoving. My heart pounded. Had they found me? I remember the note. "They are watching you. Trust no one." I grabbed the notebook, the photographs, and decided to leave. The car was my only escape. I started the engine and pulled out onto the street. The black car immediately followed. I stepped on the gas, tried to lose them, but they kept up. Then I decided to return to the old house where I had bought the car. Maybe there were answers there. When I arrived, the house was empty. The seller was nowhere to be found. I started searching inside, and suddenly in the attic, I found a box of documents. Among them were files marked classified. They described strange experiments that mentioned automobiles. I didn't understand what it meant, but one thing was clear. This car was more than just a vehicle. A knock on the door made me freeze. I slowly approached the window and saw figures outside. They had found me. There was only one choice: run. I grabbed all the documents, the notebook, the pendant, and slipped out the back door. I jumped into the car and sped away. The headlights of the black car reappeared in my rearview mirror. I didn't know how this would end, but one thing was certain. This car had led me to something I was never meant to know. Now I couldn't just stop. I had to uncover the truth. Who were these people? Why were they watching? And what secret was hidden within this car?